What's up, bro?
Not too much. I have to check the fucking camera every time because we've had so many debacles. Where we just record for. If I don't check it, we'll record for 45 minutes and then find out that I took a picture or something. So we
You
gotta
need to start
do it.
making those AI videos.
Hmm?
You need to start making those AI videos.
Oh, I should.
Have you been watching those? You keep up with those?
No. What are you talking about?
Like just people make short clips using AI videos, and it's getting so real. My wife didn't know it was fake the other day. I showed her one.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I think my wife showed me one of like some weather people. They were like, we're
yeah,
here
it's
with
scary.
this, and they're like, and then it's like a kraken comes out of the water, and like, I'm just kidding, I'm not real.
Yeah,
It's like, whoa.
it's one of like it's like your average Nissan Altima driver. It's like this lady just crashing into stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty, but like up until the car crash, you can't tell it's fake. It's pretty cool. Scary, but pretty cool.
Yeah. So Dustin's fight was this past Saturday. How'd you feel about all that?
Dude, it was sad to see him go, but
I'm
like,
gonna tell you
what
what
more
I
can he do? You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
gonna tell you what I told Dylan. Now, I I told Dylan he is, for the record, he is by far my favorite fighter.
Yeah.
Max is in second, but I like Dustin a lot more than Max, obviously.
hmm
I'm almost kind of happy that he lost by decision. I'm glad he did. I'm super glad he didn't get knocked out or submitted or any of that bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's almost like good. Now they're not gonna offer him the belt and tempt him to come back.
Yeah. Especially,
You know?
dude, like I've been saying all week, like all the stuff the UFC did for him, I'm like, dude, it's go out on the high note, bro. They did it in New Orleans. They had that whole like
It was a great
montage
fight.
for him. Yeah, it was
Yep.
a great fight. The kind of fight he loved, kind of fight he always talks about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it made me think about it a lot. Like I've been watching that dude since I was like since I was in middle school almost. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that dude's been around forever.
Yeah. He started in the UFC in 2011
Yeah.
and found out that a guy we know is allegedly related to him.
Yeah.
That's my cousin. He's gonna knock McGregor out. That was back in 2013, whenever he did it. Not in fact knock McGregor out, but he got his revenge 7 years later. So
Yeah. I mean,
it's okay.
I watched the dude's whole career.
Yeah.
And now he's like super well respected.
I watched his
legendary
first
career,
walkout in
rich. I mean, what
his first walkout for the UFC. You could see Eric Scallon, the
Yeah.
guy that owns the Gladiators
Yeah.
here in town. He was out there with him. I was like, oh, nice, dude.
I remember going
Yeah.
to when I was in high school. I went to this place called Universal Martial Arts,
Yeah.
and that was like where Eric and Dustin, all those dudes, like kind of started before like Tim, kind of like
Is that the one near Scott?
yeah.
Yeah. I think it's technically in Lafayette, but it's really close.
And I remember they had a picture of like the owner. He's like sitting like that, and then like Eric and Dustin were like each on side of him. It was like
Yeah.
super old school.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah. When did Tim Crater come into the picture?
I don't know. I mean, pretty early on, I think.
Because
they-
I know it wasn't him that owned. You're thinking of Universal Fighter?
Universal Martial Arts, Harry Duyon.
Yeah, I know it was Harry, but I thought it was something Fighter.
It might have been
I might
something
be
different
wrong.
back in the day. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I don't know. I think like
Because I had actually visited there and thought about getting a gym membership with my brother-in-law. And they had this guy named Zach Matthew. He's still
yeah, he has his own spot.
yeah,
now.
he trains
Yeah.
people. I think he's yeah.
Yeah. When I was going there, he was just like this like real young dude, but he like beat everybody up.
Yeah.
He's like really good. So glad to see he made it work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's got it going on.
Yeah.
If you keep up with the local MMA crowd, like it seems like they're doing,
Yeah, we had a dude
They're
from
making
freaking
noise.
Head Kicks make it to the UFC. Something Allen. Allen. I don't think he's in the UFC anymore. I think he's with a Bayou Fight Championship now.
I got
But
you.
yeah, it was a dude from Head Kicks in Lafayette had made it to the UFC, and yet I think I remember seeing him win a match. Yeah, Devin. He went to a BFC event not long ago, and that guy was fighting, and he said, unfortunately, he got knocked out from a dude from Homa.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The one tournament for jiu-jitsu I went to, they had the black belt from Homa was a really big dude who looked mean, and I was like, geez, dude, I hate that there's black belts that look like that.
I know.
You know?
Like, I want all my black belts to be like 5'6",
Yeah.
150 pounds.
Yeah.
It's like, you need it. This
Yeah.
is just huge and
Yeah,
dangerous.
exactly. But like he doesn't look like he needs martial arts to whip somebody's ass kind of guy.
Yeah, it's like if Stone Cold Steve Austin was just
Yeah.
like a trained killer. It's like,
Yeah.
man, this just isn't fair, man.
Yeah. This is bullshit.
But yeah,
I've been seeing so many clips from the ESPYs.
Oh, Shankos, yeah.
The best one is him shouting out freaking Matt's wife.
Yeah, dude, that was awesome.
And then another one, he mentioned that it was like a callback to a Norm Macdonald joke whenever Norm did the ESPYs. And it was like a defensive player that won the Heisman. And he was like, congratulations on winning the Heisman. You know, no matter what happens now, they cannot take it from you. Unless, you know, you murder your wife and a waiter, then they'll just take it from you. Talking about O.J. Simpson.
Yeah. That's awesome.
All the clips, my favorite part of all the clips is it seems like nobody's laughing. And I am, though.
I know. It was
There's
so
like
fun.
just an uptight crowd of people that want to look and be cool.
Yeah,
that
but
can't
like,
laugh at themselves.
It's truly was funny.
Yeah. But he's fucking with people that don't want to
But he's talking
like
about
I said,
the
laugh at themselves.
He said something about like, oh, there's supposed to be an Epstein joke right here.
It got deleted.
Yeah.
Or maybe it never existed.
Yeah,
Who
we should
knows?
just move on as a country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's some pretty crazy stuff. Turns out Epstein didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, weird.
And there was zero evidence to convict him. And
Yeah. So what's his girlfriend doing in prison right now?
yeah, so I mean,
They should
what?
let her out.
so we just convict people now,
Yeah.
like with zero evidence.
Yeah,
I mean,
he did
obviously
go to
something was
jail.
going on. Yeah.
And then he apparently committed suicide in prison. Like
Yeah.
what? Why did he do that if he was innocent?
I know. All he had to say was show the list, and they would be like, "Well, there is none."
Yeah, it turns out you're innocent, Jeff.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. I need to get back on some podcasts for funny topics like that. I've made the mistake of getting back into my audiobooks. I hadn't listened to any audiobooks in a while, and so I had like 5 credits. So on Audible, if you pay for Audible, I don't know if it's like a premium or what, but you get a free book every month. So I just downloaded all the fucking Game of Thrones books,
Nice.
and I'd already read them. And
Yeah, I was about to say, I used to like just bust you in your truck. It's like 110 degrees outside. You just like sweating.
yeah, reading Game of
Reading
Thrones
House of
and
the
eating TV dinners at work. I'm not doing this at my house.
You're just a psychopath.
Man, I had a funny topic. I was saving it for Colin. Normally, I save topics that I wrote down for Colin,
Oh,
but this one was good.
You gonna treat me special?
Yeah. So you watched all the Game of Thrones, huh?
I watched up until the last season.
Okay, so
It
you
took
remember?
too long. I just lost. I was like, I'm
Yeah,
not doing
the
it.
last few seasons sucked ass anyway.
Yeah.
But it's in the first one, in the first book, first season of the show. It's whenever Khaleesi gets pregnant with Khal Drogo's baby, and they're like testing her, and they have her eating a horse's heart in like a tent. You know,
Okay, yeah, I kinda
to
remember
make
that.
sure, and she's like not supposed to throw up, and that's whenever they're like, oh, he's gonna be a great fucking conqueror and stuff, and so that kind of struck me as odd, and so I Googled it, and it turns out I want you to guess how much do you think a horse's heart weighs?
18 pounds.
There's been one that was 22 pounds,
Wow.
but on average, they're 8 to 10 pounds.
8 to 10 pounds.
Yeah, and you're trying to tell me that a little pregnant girl ate an entire horse's heart raw? Have you ever eaten heart, like deer or chicken?
No.
Chicken heart's not that uncommon, and if you fry it, it's like a very chewy chicken nugget. And like Hart is known for being like a tough meat.
Yeah.
And this is animals that are not horses. I couldn't imagine a raw horse heart. I think you would break a fucking tooth on that thing before you'd be able to bite a chunk out of it. And then not to mention, like think of like a chuck roast that you get from the store.
Yeah.
Like those are big hunks of meat that can feed an entire family. Those are like 3 pounds.
Yeah. It's like eating 3 of them.
She ate fucking 10 pounds of meat right there, raw. Like, I was like, all right, this is bullshit. It's pretty funny. Like the writer couldn't just think like, man, I should probably come up with something a little bit better than
Yeah.
an entire horse's heart raw.
Yeah, maybe they could have did something like a goat.
Yeah, or a rabbit even.
Something more.
Yeah, more reasonable.
Yeah.
Than 10 pounds of the hardest meat you've ever tried to.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember if they showed her eating an 8-pound.
I'm pretty sure it
heart.
did. And I know in the book it said that she had to do it. I don't even know how to spell her fucking name.
But like, could you, if like your life was on the line, if someone was like, "Hey, you have to eat an 8-pound."
No, I genuinely don't think it's humanly possible. Like, imagine if...
I bet it is. I bet those dudes that used to dig those pools in India, like, you know what I'm talking about? I bet they could do it.
Yeah. It would just be, like, quick edits of them taking different bites. I mean, dude, think if your life was on the line and you had to eat 10 pounds of steak already cooked.
Oh, I could do
like,
it.
Cooked for 10 pounds?
I could do it. If my
That's
life
a
was
lot.
on the line.
Like a good-sized steak is a pound.
Yeah.
Like just 10 of them. They'd be like this fucking tall.
Gun to my head, I could eat 10 steaks. No problem.
Yeah, maybe a problem, but gun to the head, maybe.
Like if I could like take a nap afterwards.
Right.
Think
Now, steaks are also tender and delicious.
Yes.
We're talking about something that, like,
Correct.
yeah, there's no fat in this thing. Zero marbling. It's just connective tissue and muscle for an animal that's very strong.
I'm just thinking like raw too.
Yeah.
Like,
you know how much chewing? Dude, I think your jaw couldn't handle the chewing. It'd be like chewing on a fucking boot, dude. It'd be like, I bet you Bingo could do it.
I was thinking about the smell.
There's no way it's tasty.
It's gonna taste horrible, but then like the smell, as soon as they bring it in, you're probably like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
But that was funny.
That was funny.
That's all I got.
That's it. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna head out.
What'd you thought of Holloway's fight? No, Holland's fight. Holloway, we already talked about.
Oh,
Anyway, Kevin Holland was just
Yeah, it was
beating
pretty
the
good.
fuck out of that tatted dude.
man, that was
Kevin Holland is like the biggest coin flip in UFC history. He's either gonna get like knocked, like not really knocked out, but like tackled and submitted in round 1,
yeah.
or it's gonna be a contender for fight of the year.
Speaking
Yeah.
of, Michael Johnson got it done.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool to see. He's
Yeah.
he's also a big coin flip.
yeah.
Did you watch the Brendan Allen versus Marvin Vettori? It was on the prelims, which I don't know why it was on.
Yes, I did.
That
I
was
think
an amazing fight.
I watched that one from the pool. We just had the phone in the pool. Not in the pool, but we had the phone posted up. Just
Gotcha.
chilling in the pool watching during that time. Yeah. Vittori won, right? And
No.
no?
The other dude won. It was a
Because
decision,
I remember Vittori and not Drakus, fucking Hamzat hate each other's fucking guts.
They all hate humps.
Yeah, true.
Did you hear the Paulo Costa?
Yeah. Was it him? No, that's who I was thinking of. Yeah.
He was like DMing his wife and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I was thinking Vittori for some reason. Yeah, I saw the video of him. He texted
and
my
like the
girl and
worst-
said I'm a pussy.
The worst like broken English I've ever heard, just like calling him out. It was pretty awesome. No, it was just a great card. A lot of the decisions, wasn't a ton of finishes,
Yeah.
but all good fights.
Yeah.
Good close back and forth fights. Which I like sometimes. It just makes for a long night though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I didn't get home till like 1 and then I'm all amped up.
Yeah. Well, not up. Me and Dylan were ready to fucking pass out
Yeah.
by the time the fights ended.
Yeah.
We had a good time though. Dylan's always fun.
Yeah. I like Dylan.
I think combined we drank I had 18 plus 20. We had 3 left. Do the math on 35 beers together. So,
Very cool.
yeah. Big night.
That's a lot of beers, dude.
Yeah. Throwing it back.
I really put that in perspective. That's a lot of beer. Like, I'd be more open to eating 10 steaks than drinking half of 35 beers.
Dude, that's like, yeah,
I feel
like,
more
yeah,
bloated,
dude.
I think, drinking.
Well, it's
many
also,
beers.
I mean, it was over the course of a long day.
Dude, that says we never talked about it. Did they give her a time frame in which she could eat?
Oh, I don't
Uh-huh.
think so. True.
So, I mean, maybe it took her a week, but she got
yeah,
it done,
true.
dude.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, totally.
Look at
dude.
you.
If you tell me I have to eat 10 steaks, but, like, there's no time frame, I mean, there's no,
Like,
it's a
wait.
no-brainer.
Oh, yeah. Well, then, like, give me, I mean, honestly, 24 hours is plenty.
Yeah.
Plenty.
I could probably eat them raw.
I don't know about that, dude.
Had to take it to the extreme. I'm
Are
sorry.
y'all cooking them in garlic butter? Like, 'cause if so, it'll go down. But boy, stay away from my back end after.
Dude, speaking of steaks, I'm a big T-bone guy now.
Dude, I've been preaching T-bone for like a year now.
Yeah, I never had one until recently.
I think I told you about them.
You did.
Yeah, because
I
we
just
had
blew you off.
They were yeah, I know you don't listen to me.
I was like, he
nobody
doesn't know what he's
listens to
talking
me
about.
until it's too late. And because they were like on sale at Super One or Nunu's or something, and I got them instead of ribeyes.
Uh-huh.
I was like, well, fuck, dude, this is the most underrated steak of all time.
Yeah.
And Tom, my neighbor, put it perfect. You know what a T-bone really is? It's a New York strip on one side and a sirloin on the other. Because, dude, that one side with the little tiny piece of meat on it, that's the
so
most
good.
tender. You
Yeah.
eat it with your finger.
I went to eat with my wife one night. We went to Longhorn Steakhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought about getting it because I was like, man, everybody's been telling me about these T-bones.
Everybody.
Including Tommy.
Me a year, 8 months ago.
And then
you were like,
but I was like, I'm
everybody-
not going to get it because I've never had one. And I'm like, what if it sucks? And then I just spent all this money.
Right.
So I got my own. Yeah, I cooked it. It was real thin. And I was like, man, this is epic. So this last time I went and got one, man, it's probably my new favorite steak, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, like a cheap ribeye is still great.
Yeah.
But, dude, you're paying, even a cheap ribeye, you're paying like fucking $14, $15 a pound for that motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know? Like, even at Costco, a prime ribeye is $18 a pound. And then, like, at Nunu's or Super One, it'll be like fucking almost 30. You know?
Yeah.
But I've gotten the prime ribeyes from Costco before. It was a 3-pack, and they were probably a good 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick.
Mm.
It was like 70 fucking bucks. But then I cooked them on the pit, and without even putting butter or anything on them, I put them onto a plate and brought them inside, and the plate was like full of
Nice.
juices, dude. I was like, oh, this
That's where
is
it's at.
good shit. So I don't know, maybe eating 10 pounds of steak wouldn't be too hard.
10 pounds of horse heart.
Yeah.
That's hard for me to say. Horse heart.
Horse heart.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, you could totally do that.
Yeah.
24 hours and like all the pressure of like giant jack dudes with ponytails and swords outside your tent. like,
Screaming at you and something you don't understand.
yeah.
It'd be
Did
like,
you learn how to like speak the language super quick and stuff? Like
yeah.
that's what blows me away about those shows. That's what like gets me
Yeah, that they figured the language
riled up.
out.
It's like, yeah, I'm like, no, there's no way I can't. Like I can barely speak English. It's the language I speak every day. Like
Like, you could put me in, like, somewhere, like, with a language that's similar. Like, French would be, it's, like, heavily borrowed. Like, English and French are similar in a lot of ways. And then, you know, in Louisiana, there's a lot of French-speaking
Yeah.
people. But then it's like, if you would drop me off in France and be like, all right, we'll be back in a month. I don't know, dude. I think it depends on whether you drink or not. Because if you drink a lot, you'll just start speaking their language, not knowing what you're saying,
yeah,
and you'll start getting stuff right. I think that's the secret. It would take you forever because you don't drink.
I know. I
I
just
think
be
it'd
like,
give me 2 weeks, and I'd be your interpreter.
I could probably learn German.
Yeah, I don't know
I
German.
just be like mad out there. Like,
Now it's whenever they don't have the same alphabet as you.
y'all.
That's whenever you're gonna run into some trouble.
Yeah,
Like
I've looked into Russian.
yeah,
dude. That's
it's like they have like weird looking Y's and like One of the letters is like the pi sign.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, what does that even sound like?
The ultimate is the like once you go east into like
Yeah.
those Arabic countries and then like Asian countries.
Yeah, I wonder what would be harder, like Arabic or Japanese.
I would have to say Japanese because it's like I don't even understand. Like at least Arabic looks just like cursive. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so I could see you read it in the same format, like left to right.
Yeah.
You go to Japan, it's like oh
Or you can go to Africa where they just click and they just beatbox at you.
yeah.
How do you write that out?
That's gotta be the hardest language because like it's probably not even written down. It's just like
True.
some old dude has to take you aside and just tell you how to say it.
Yeah. No,
But they don't have a lot going on, so there's probably not a lot to learn.
but also it's like, dude, cultures, you'd have to almost learn the culture to learn the language as well. Because I remember there was a book, it's called The Rising Sun by Tom Holland. Tom Holland, not the dude that played Spider-Man.
Okay, it'd be a lot
There's
cooler
a
if it was,
historian
but all right.
that was named after the guy that played Spider-Man. But it's called The Rising Sun, and it talks about it's basically World War II. It's like it starts in the 1920s and then follow like to connect it all and follows through World War II. And it talked about like a problem with like I've said this before that like this was a common thing in World War One with the European nations and in World War II in a few different spots where everybody was actually trying not to go to war, but the people who were in charge just kept fucking shit up until it was too late and they were at war. This happened in Japan, between Japan and America. It turns out neither of us wanted to actually go to war,
Yeah.
but it got pushed. And so apparently in Japan, that like there was cultural differences so that even if you have an interpreter that knew the Japanese language, just reading it in English does not give you the whole scope of what they were saying. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
That I don't have any. I'd have to. It's been a year since I've listened to that book. Oh, here's a good one that explains it. Jocko. Jocko was talking about whenever he was in Iraq, and they had to take Iraqi forces to go and fight with them on every mission. There was like a moment where he was asking one of his Iraqi captains if it was like, "Hey, can you have 30 men ready tomorrow? We're going on this mission." And he just answered with "Inshallah." And the interpreter said, he said yes. But "Inshallah" directly translates to "God willing." But they use it as yes. Now, their culture, they don't like to tell people no. So whenever they say "Inshallah" as yes or "God willing," they're saying "God willing," not a flat out yes.
Yeah.
He's not going to be like, "No, I can only get 14."
Yeah, it's more like a maybe, like
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like you also have to know the fucking culture of how their language is used, not just, word for word what they're saying.
Yeah,
You know?
that's interesting.
Which would make everything even more difficult. Would like we were saying, like
Yeah.
you just hang out with them for a little while and all of a sudden you can talk to them.
Especially like back to like so Japanese is super hard to read. It's like not even the same format.
No.
It's different like completely. But then like they have one of the furthest from American cultures.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's like super polite and like punctual and like serious and
Yeah. Well, it was like the way the book described it, and this is going to be a poorly explained version of it. Like they were saying that like in Western cultures, it was more like everything was more black and white. We see things as more black and white. So it's like you're either being rude or you're not being rude. It's either a yes or no. You're either dirty or you're clean, kind of thing. Whereas in the Japanese culture, I don't know if it's still the same, but it probably is. I doubt it changes that much. But they see things more in like opposites being the same thing as each other. So it's like they'll do things that are considered rude, but it's also like, I don't know. Fuck, dude. I'm gonna have to re-listen to that book if I want to get deeper into it. But that was one of like the main things that made a lot of confusion between the Japanese and the Americans whenever they were talking. They just didn't understand what, like, they got the words verbatim, but they just meant different things to each other. Yeah. And there was people that tried to call off Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, I remember you telling
Like,
me.
and they were
They
like,
turned
no,
the
don't
radios
fucking.
off.
But they had to. They had to
Like,
turn the
what you
radios
want?
off because the Americans were listening for radio signals.
Yeah.
That was a big thing about the Battle of Midway. Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
The reason why we won the Battle of Midway is because a couple of guys in the middle of the Pacific had cracked the Japanese code, but hadn't proved it yet. And so the Japanese were messaging about going to Midway, and they were warning some higher ups that, hey, I think they're going to these two islands right here. And they were like, we can't just send everything we got to these, because all the ships hadn't been repaired from Pearl Harbor yet. All they had was two fully functioning aircraft carriers and one, the Yorktown, that had been crippled in a battle not far from Australia shortly after Pearl Harbor. So they didn't know if they wanted to risk it all, and then they end up somewhere else. So what they did was the Americans sent out a message saying that they needed fresh water at Midway. They were critically low. And then the Japanese messaged back in their encrypted message saying that whatever the word was for Midway was low on water. And I was like, oh, we got it. And that's what basically was the beginning of the end. That's how we were able to read them and know that they were going to Midway and be prepared for them.
It's pretty cool.
There was a lot more to it, but that was like one of the main parts of it. Which is crazy. Like, to a dumbass like me, it's like, dude, how do you just like intercept radio waves in a different language that they're speaking in a strange code to make sure that you don't understand what they're saying and then crack it?
I know.
Yeah.
Especially back then too. It's like it's all brand new, it's all cutting edge stuff. You know what I'm saying? This isn't like
radios are 10 years old.
Yeah. 20 years prior, people were still like showing up on horses and stuff.
Yeah, and they would like, all right, I'm gonna send a message, and they just throw a pigeon into the air.
Yeah.
It was like, how do you even tell a fucking pigeon where to go? By the way, like,
they do though. I mean, they still do that. Like Mike Tyson is he's into the pigeons and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he grew up doing that, like in New York. Apparently, New York's a big thing. Like
training pigeons
on top, yeah, like on top of the roofs and stuff. They have like pigeon coops and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's like its own little, I guess like a club, I guess.
Yeah. Well, speaking of like new technologies, well, let's take a break real quick. We'll come back to it. I got a cool story.
Before we get in the goods.
Yeah. But yeah, talking about radio and stuff being like a new thing at the time. Did you know? So radar was also pretty new in World War II. And so America made a monstrous discovery that helped with anti-aircraft gunnery. So at the time, like during the Blitz on Great Britain, whenever the Germans were blitzing Great Britain from the sky, what they would do was they would see the planes coming. They would load up shells into the flak guns. That's the little puffs of smoke that you would see in the air in all the movies. And what that is, that's just basically sending shrapnel all over the place. So they'd have to look at the planes coming, judge their distance, and then set timers on the rounds as they were loading them into the flak guns. And that, it would basically, it would take, I forget the exact number, but it would take like hundreds or even thousands of rounds to be able to like down a plane because it was so hard to really time it. You don't, you're taking.
And then like, what if he turns left?
Yeah. The plane speed, the plane altitude, the round speed, and and you're trying to time it all. So what the Americans did was they took radar technology and found a way to put it into the ACAC round to where once it got close enough to something, it would explode instead of on a timer. And so this almost didn't even happen. There was a Japanese American guy who he was born in, I think, California, he might not have. He might have actually been Hispanic or something. So he was basically born in California. He moved to New Mexico and was basically adopted by a Japanese family. The family that adopted him ended up getting interned in World War II. He had joined the Navy and had made himself like a really big deal by winning a major battle with like a battleship, basically.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of pull. And so there was this system in the Navy at the time where they would stamp papers, and they would, judging by what it was stamped with, would be the time that the papers would be delivered or processed.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the one who's credited with, so he found these rounds that had been tested with the radar and stuff, and it turns out now these took, if the timed release rounds would take let's say 1,000, or let's just say for layman terms 100
Mm-hmm.
to hit and down an enemy plane, these radar control ones would take like half a dozen. They were really good.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of paperwork in the military. But he was able to move it along quick enough to get it to use. And we started selling them to Britain way later. But we started using them, and that was in the Battle of the Pacific, what's known as the Great American Turkey Shoot. for a bunch of reasons. Yeah, there was like a battle. I think it was before the campaign in the Marianas. Whenever we took those islands, before we landed on there, the Japanese flung a ton of fighters. And so there's a bunch of things that are credited for the American victory over there. One is Japanese, they were told that they need, like, if you go into battle, you need to die for your honor and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Americans would go through great lengths to save their pilots.
Yeah.
If they get downed in the ocean, they would, and they would even put themselves in grave danger. Like the ships in that battle had turned on their spotlights so that the planes could reach them again, even though that would make them literally a shining target in the ocean to get attacked. They did it just to save their pilots. So by this point, it was America just had way better pilots than the Japanese. By then, we were also putting out some nasty airplanes.
Yeah.
Compared to them. And it's called the Battle of the Pacific, but the Americans called it the Great American Turkey Shoot.
I like that one better.
Yeah. But it's these radar controlled rounds that helped the Allies win World War II, because that's whenever the Germans couldn't really reach Britain anymore during the Blitz, once we started selling them to them.
Yeah, because that was their whole thing, right? They would, the Blitzkrieg, they send the planes, then the tanks, then
Yep. So, they were trying to, and also there was a bunch of shit with the Germans. Nobody wanted to, so Hitler was like a narcissist, and he was surrounded by sycophants. Mm-hmm. A sycophant is basically a kiss ass. Mm-hmm. And the second in command to the party was Hermann Goering. And he was the leader of the Luftwaffe, the German Air Force. And he had surrounded himself with sycophants. And so they were lying to him about how many British planes they had downed, and that there was like a major battle in the air where they were like, we think the British are down to like 26 fighters left to like be able to come and harass our raids, our air raids. Dude, the British they launched a massive attack on Britain, and Britain put like 100 planes into the air and blew up most of the German planes that went over there. It's like, so lying to your boss is not a great idea in some of these situations.
Yeah, which is kind of weird because, like, I don't know. Especially at the time, I just feel like the Germans were very, like, straightforward people.
From what I understand, dude, I think the Germans got most of their reputation for their efficiency and skill from before the Nazis took over.
Yeah.
Like World War One, because growing up, I always thought it's like the World War II Germans were nasty. They were really tough to deal with. They almost conquered the world. They were but then I hear people, like historians, say that like the Germans from World War One might have been one of the best militaries of all time. You know, like comparable to like Alexandrian levels
Yeah.
with his, you know, forces. So it's like, I don't know, it's weird. So maybe some of that reputation came from that because you saw like Germany whenever it was actual like the German people in command,
Mm-hmm.
they got everything done so quick. It was whenever Hitler took over command and became like wanted to get a lot of the credit for winning that they started blundering. You know, you got Dunkirk
Yeah.
for one. That's whenever the Germans had the British and French surrounded in this one small city in northern France, and they had an entire tank division ready to roll in and wipe them out or capture, or preferably capture them. You'd rather capture most of those people than kill them, but Hermann Goering once again had convinced Hitler that the Luftwaffe could do it better, and he listened. And he gave the command himself for the Panzer Division to not go in, and that was a blunder. And then you see that with the British Blitz, and so then in shortly after that, once the Blitz was over with Britain, that was whenever you saw the North African campaign take off, and that was Rommel. Rommel took over most of North Africa from Libya all the way to, I don't know if he made it. No, from Libya to Algeria, which is, I think, near, like right next to Egypt. Let's fucking pull up a map, dude. Uh, so they took over all of North Africa during the Blitz or shortly after. And then after that was all done, that's whenever the Japanese decided to bring the Americans into the war. Great idea for us today,
Yeah.
but not so great for them. We're bringing up a map of North Africa so we can actually see. I believe the Americans and Brits landed.
Look out, Jerry.
Where we got? This is Algeria. So it started in Algeria and it went to, oh, okay, yeah, Libya and even Egypt. So the Germans controlled this whole area. Erwin Rommel took this over from the British. They were the ones that controlled most of this territory. So this was after Germany had taken over France, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that there was actually a naval battle between Britain and France in World War II?
No.
After Germany took over France, the British command had sent out a letter to all of the French Navy, hey, come to Britain, join us, we can fight off the Germans and stuff. We're all good. So some of them from the European continent, like from the Atlantic, had joined up with them, not much. And when the Americans joined in the war and they started planning for the invasion of North Africa, the idea was they considered the area that Germany controlled. So Germany had already taken over Norway. They had already taken Denmark, France, and so they didn't take over all of France. They had conquered all of France, but there was a line around cutting France in half, north to south.
Mm-hmm.
And the south was controlled in a town called Vichy, and it was called Vichy France. And it was basically a puppet government from France controlled by Germany, but northern France was German, part of the German Empire. And so whenever Churchill and Roosevelt were talking about getting back at Germany, they called it the Fortress Europe. You just can't break into it. Spain was at the time in the middle of a nasty civil war between fascists and communists. Mm-hmm. So we didn't have any friends over there. And so we decided that Italy would be the place to go to break into Europe. Churchill famously called it Europe's soft white underbelly. So we invaded North Africa, and before we landed in Algeria, there was that there was some French ships because Algeria was a French colony. And so the British were telling them that they had to surrender and join them to fight the Germans. But, bro, these guys got people back at home. And the Germans were not too nice to people they considered traitors.
Yeah.
They would just take people's families and stuff. And so the French and the British actually had like a shootout at sea, which the British won. They took over the vessels. A lot of people died. But,
So this is all right here.
yeah, around this area. And this is where the British and Americans had joined in. So whenever the British and Americans landed in North Africa, this would have been early 1942. We were going up. The British forces were commanded by General Montgomery. The Americans, I think it was Patton. Let me see. American commander in North Africa, World War II. Okay, so it was Eisenhower. So two big-ass names. Eisenhower went on to become the supreme commander of all Allied forces on the Western Front, and Montgomery was the chief general of all of the British forces in the Western Front. So Eisenhower and Montgomery invade North Africa. They start fighting it out, and it's not looking great. Around this time, the British cracked the code for the German Enigma device. That was the Germans' encryption machine that they used to send, encrypted messages. They cracked it. Alan Turing cracked it. And if you don't know, Alan Turing is like a genius for computers. He's the one that made the Turing test.
He's super gay.
Yes, so he got sent to prison. No, they gave him all. They like chemically cracked. They did some nasty stuff to him.
Poisoned him or something.
No, I think he committed suicide in prison after they had like drugged him to make him not gay. They gave him a bunch of anti-gay drugs that
You
just
could do
made
that?
Yeah, back then it was easy, and so he basically cracked the Enigma code, and so I think it was Hardcore History that explained it, that Montgomery was able to outfox the Desert Fox because he was reading his mail. Every message that Erwin Rommel was getting, Montgomery was reading. And they managed to take it. They took over Algeria and Libya. I think they went for Egypt and eventually got it, but the main point was to get to Sicily. So this is where the shit gets fun. Because at the time, this was in the 1940s, what was big in America's biggest city? New York.
Italian immigrants.
The Italian mafia. Yeah. So they actually talked to, his name was John something. A famous gangster. Like a Sicilian mob boss. John Dillinger? Would that be his name?
I think he was an Irish guy.
It was, okay. Well, there was a.
What year was this?
42.
Maybe like Luciano?
Hold on. Who did the Americans talk to before invading Sicily? It was like, let's see. For the Operation Husky, I'm gonna have to put Sicilian mob boss. He was in prison at the time, and they talked to him to get in touch with some of his family back. Lucky Luciano.
Yeah.
So they got in touch with him and was like, yo, talk to some of your family back in Sicily before we invade. So the Americans had invaded, I think, around here in Marsala, and I think the British went more closer to Syracuse, probably in the southeastern part of Sicily. The British was getting their asses kicked. They were fighting tooth and nail to get on. And apparently the Americans were just like rolling into cities, and people were throwing flowers on their tanks, giving them cigarettes and stuff.
It's a super
Like,
Italian thing to do.
yeah, they were like getting them drunk and shit. They were having a good time.
They
This
said when you're here, your family.
So this is whenever like generals' egos started playing, because this was commanded by the Americans by Patton. Once the invasion was successful, Patton started rolling through Sicily, ended up taking Palermo, and the British were having a much worse time of it, and Montgomery got pissed off. Anyway, they end up taking all of Sicily, and then they decide to invade Italy proper. Italy was garrisoned by German forces and gave them a much bigger fight than Sicily did. So there was a couple of invasions. I think the Americans landed like further north than Rome, and the British invaded closer to Naples and like the southern part of Italy. But egos once again. This wasn't Patton. This was like a more of a green commander for the American forces. And once the British rolled in, they had an easier time in Italy than the Americans did because there was more Germans in northern Italy. There's a mountain pass that they were having a ton of fucking trouble getting through. And so he got pissed off, turned around, and went and conquered Rome. He took Rome away from the Italians, which was supposed to be for the British. And so you don't hear too much about America taking Rome, right?
Mm-mm.
You want to know why?
Why?
Because the day it happened. They took it on June 5th, 1944.
Huh.
The very next day, D-Day happened in France. So he was fucking pissed because all the freaking newspaper articles back at home was talking about the boys on Omaha Beach and all that stuff.
I never knew they took Rome.
Yep. That was it's a funny thing. It was like the dude did it just to make himself famous, and then nobody found out about it because Eisenhower prosecuted D-Day up in Normandy, which they had. What were they all? It was Omaha Beach. The Americans had Omaha and Utah,
Mm-hmm.
and there was like a sword. You know, the Canadians and British had a much easier time on D-Day. Yeah, there was Utah and Omaha for the Americans. The gold and sword were for the British, and Juneau was captured by the Canadians. And so after that, the Americans kept fighting the Italian campaign for a very long time because they didn't know which one. They didn't know that D-Day was going to be successful.
Yeah.
You know, so the fighting kept happening.
So I guess
Apparently,
the plan
it
was
was
just
really
hit it
bloody.
from both ends, and whoever made it.
Yep. And so once D-Day happened, the Americans started moving into France. This is where, like, France gets a bad rap for losing to Germany in World War II, but everybody wonders why they're a permanent security council member for the UN, and they're like a major power in the world because apparently the French resistance did a ton. The Allies go on to take Paris. The largest airborne operation in history happened in the Netherlands whenever they went and took. Jesus, I should know these. They went and took. They took a strategic point in the Netherlands. I think the Netherlands was called Holland at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the 82nd Airborne, like the Band of Brothers. This was in that show. And that was whenever you had the major battle of Bastogne.
Was it Dusseldorf?
No, not Dusseldorf. Cologne.
What about Bon?
Bon. C'est bon. No, that's just some fun facts about World War II that I can just go off the top of my fucking head. No.
Yeah, no, I didn't know anything about the.
Yeah, the Italian campaign was supposed to be where we were going to hit Germany. But as you can see, there's quite a few mountains in
Yeah.
northern Italy that don't seem super easy to cross. Uh, so at one point, the Allies had captured Benito Mussolini
Hmm.
and stuck him in a prison. Dude, the Germans sent paratroopers who landed on the prison grounds, broke in, got Mussolini, and got the fuck out and brought him back to Germany.
Dude,
They were gonna try. They were gonna try and use him to like rally the Italian soldiers that were left to
it's
keep
pretty
fighting on
tight. I'm not
him.
gonna lie.
It's fucking nasty. Dude. I would love to see what the German like tier 1 units looked like in
Yeah, I was saying it's like some
1944.
yeah, like some Delta Force stuff,
Ooh,
and like that's with all the modern equipment stuff. Like these dudes
yeah,
are no night vision or nothing, you know.
nothing.
So,
That actually also happened in Belgium too, in 1940. There was a massive fortress. So Belgium is known for this was a major point in World War One too. So everybody knows that in World War Two, the Germans invaded through the Maginot Line, no, under the Maginot Line in the Ardennes forest. I
mhm.
think it's the Ardennes. That because everybody thought that it was too thick for the Germans to advance through, but the Germans gave all their soldiers tons of meth and they did it anyway. But they had also sent troops to Belgium. Belgium was only heavily fortified at major crossroads. And there was one particular fortress, I have no idea where in Belgium, that was that was going to take, thousands of men and weeks to bring down and stop. And apparently, something like 82 German paratroopers took it in a day. They just like landed on top of the fortress and just started fucking dudes up and
Just
making them
ran.
surrender and stuff. Yeah, that was why they were. Which both of those things, the blitz through the Ardennes under the Maginot Line. The Maginot Line was supposed to be from Switzerland to Belgium, and it was supposed to be a series of forts and fortresses that would prevent the Germans from entering France easily. Which we all saw how that worked out. And so those two things is what actually made Dunkirk possible. You know, where is Dunkirk? Is Dunkirk still a place on here? Oh yeah, look, here you go. I was close. Yeah. Dunkirk, we talked about was the one of Hitler's first blunders. They moved from Dunkirk over to Dover. The Dover Heights is like a known thing. So over here, it's not really beaches in Britain. It's like a cliff face that drops off and then goes into the ocean. What the British had to do was get a bunch of civilian vessels to all meet in Dover, along with naval vessels to go over to Dunkirk to rescue the British and French. I think they rescued like 180,000 in a matter of a few days.
Whoa.
And it was literally dudes showing up in bass boats.
Yeah.
I mean, like, hey, hop on. It's like the Cajun Navy.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that.
But it's tight, dude. How
That's
sick
pretty
would that
awesome.
feel? It was like in your fucking fishing boat, you're getting strafed by fucking German Messerschmitts. like, they're like, yo, get in, dude. Antwerp. This is another major city of World War II, not too far from Dunkirk. This is the major port town in Belgium. This was basically Antwerp is the reason why Britain entered the First and Second World Wars. Wow, beautiful city.
Yeah. I heard the people there are really tiny.
Oh yeah, look at that guy right there in the yellow shirt. It's, it's a kid. No, they're basically the reason why Britain entered the two world wars because it's the easiest place to get to the heart of Europe from Britain, and they could not afford to lose Belgium. Belgian neutrality is like the Germans gambled on it in World War One, and in World War Two, the Germans just didn't give a fuck and they wanted to fight Britain anyway. They thought they weren't gonna because at the time, Neville Chamberlain was the prime minister of Great Britain, and they thought he was too cowardly to enter the war. And ironically enough, he got replaced by Winston Churchill, who would have nothing but war with Germany.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure you know, like Neville Chamberlain got a bad rap for being like you ever hear in your history classes the appeasement and stuff. Like that he kept appeasing Hitler, and you couldn't do that. Well, he didn't fucking know that, you know. And so after he died, so Winston Churchill ran against him and like talked a lot of shit about him. But Neville Chamberlain died during World War II, and Winston Churchill went up and said a speech about him. I'm looking for it on fucking Google. Churchill's eulogy for Chamberlain. All right. The two men were members of opposite parties. The eulogy. Churchill took the eulogy. I just want the whole freaking speech. It was the most moving thing. Because like I said, he kept attacking him for being too soft on Germany. And then, like I said, the guy died.
And he's like, oh, it was a debate.
I can cut all these silent moments out. I just really want to read this. Motherfucker, dude.
There's a lot of me like standing. I am bored with it all.
Oh, dude, fucking Google. What did Winston Churchill say about Neville Chamberlain after he died? Give me a fucking quote. I'm going to lose my mind. A detailed breakdown. God damn it, dude.
Maybe put in like whole eulogy or something.
English. Remembered him as English worthy. Oh, great. That really adds a lot. This is so... you gotta love how like the internet delivers us unlimited information, but boy, if you look for something specific, you're fucked.
I just don't like how everybody adds.
Yeah, it's like they want to talk about it. No, just give me the fucking transcript.
My heart goes out to you.
All right. Neville Chamberlain eulogy. Or just don't even type. Okay. Eulogy by Winston Churchill. Transcript. Please, for the love of God. Oh, yeah, correct me on my spelling first, and then... Oh, my God.
Here's the full
go on fucking Twitter X.
Twitter X.
This is so annoying. All right. I gotta click something else.
This is gonna be worth it.
For the love of God. Here's love and death. Okay. All right, here we go. Boy, it's a mouthful too. I'm gonna try and find where it gets good. All right, here we go. It fell on Neville Chamberlain in one of the supreme crises of the world to be contradicted by events, to be disappointed in his hopes, and to be deceived and cheated by a wicked man. But what are these hopes in which he was disappointed? What were these wishes in which he was frustrated? What was that faith that was abused? They were surely among the most noble and benevolent instincts of the human heart: the love of peace, the toil for peace, the strife for peace, the pursuit of peace, even at great peril, and certainly to the utter disdain of popularity or clamor. Whatever else history may or may not say about these terrible, tremendous years, we can be sure that Neville Chamberlain acted with perfect sincerity according to his lights and strove to the utmost of his capacity and authority, which were powerful, to save the world from the awful, devastating struggle in which we are now engaged. This alone will stand him in good stead as far as what is called the verdict of history is concerned. You know. So, like, even like history books, and like if you talk to anybody that kind of studies World War II, they'll say some bad shit about Neville Chamberlain. But I think he was a good dude because, like, even Winston Churchill had to admit after he died that he did try to avert it.
Yeah. He's probably like, it's not our problem, dude.
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Which I get that.
Well, he just didn't want, like, at the time, what he was being appeaseful for was Germany taking a good section of Austria and then Czechoslovakia, which is now Czechia and Slovakia, because there were big German populations in there. What really kicked it off was whenever he invaded Poland. So Poland, after World War II, had become a nation proper, but there was like a German province like right here, like on the northern part of Poland, that was not connected to Germany at all. So he was trying to, in his own, like an excuse, he was trying to connect it, but he was just being a nasty little fucker. And that's all we got for today. I hope you enjoyed this class. Any closing thoughts, Nicholas?
Yeah, Lucky Luciano won us the war is basically what I got out of all that.
Yep. And it's hard to learn languages.
Yeah.
That's all. Good night. Oh, missed it.